What up, guys? Rashad here. We are back and we're going to do a quick video install, hopefully quick, on this beauty right here. Now, I have a little confession. Well, I didn't buy the intercooler that I thought I was buying. Let me explain. This little guy here is actually the Procharger Stage 2 intercooler. Now, what's unique about this one compared to the normal one is this one has a bung welded to it with a beautiful big red bypass valve. So you can get some shots in there, hopefully. Now, what's unique about this, normally there's a clamp there that has a little black hose kind of going off to a right angle, and it has a smaller blow-off valve, bypass valve, sorry. Now, I was under the assumption, because it's really hard to tell, and I bought the car this way, I was under the assumption that I had the Stage 1 intercooler. That's not the case. I have this intercooler already, but before I panicked and realized that I made a huge mistake, or at least thought that, I started to think about it. So I got this entire assembly for the price of what this valve costs by itself. Then you need to have somebody weld it on, pull off the intercooler obviously, have somebody weld it to the bung so you can actually bolt it onto this intercooler. So saved myself a huge headache, to be honest, and what I paid was the same price as just buying the valve. So really I made out very well, and I can sell this perfectly good identical Stage 2 intercooler. So it's kind of cool because I actually have a Stage 2 intercooler to sell rather than just the Stage 1 that I thought I had. So it's strange because we're not getting any more cooling abilities, but for the boost I'm running and for the, I guess, CFM that I'm pushing, I should have the bigger bypass valve. And who doesn't like the extra noise it makes? So hopefully this thing is going to be, it's called the big red bypass valve, so hopefully it's going to be big and loud. So looking forward to it, guys. The biggest part of this operation is going to be pulling off the front bumper. That's really the hard part. This car is filthy, so I apologize. I do daily drive this thing. You know, 800 horsepower or not, I got to get to work. So when I'm not riding the bike, I do drive this or drive the Raptor to work. So I'm going to show you how I'm pulling this bumper off. There's a decent amount of bolts, but it's not difficult from what I've seen on the YouTubes. So hopefully this is super quick and easy. Never happens that way. I will show you one thing before we get started. There's a little project that I have to do on the Raptor here coming up, and I'm not going to spoil too much, but I'll just show you the box. I've also got some tie rods that I've got to put on the Raptor, and I bought some vinyl, so I'm going to be wrapping these boys over here, the big rear fenders, the +4 fenders. I'm going to try and smooth out all the issues here, scratches, and then I'm going to wrap instead of paint. It makes more sense with the way that these are off-road so much and getting scratched up. I think a wrap will do way better. So if I don't like it, just pull it off. No big deal. Without further ado, we're going to get into it. So, here we go. Step 1. Get the manliest blanket you can find. Check. Get your awesome heavy-duty blue rubber gloves from Harbor Freight that are really cheap. Or Amazon. Or wherever. Sport local, actually. And handy dandy wrench. Now, this is a T15. T15 is pretty much most of these bolts on this bumper. They're actually the ones on the fender and these on the top as well. I don't remember everything that needs to come off. I might need both of these because this might not have enough clearance to get in front of the tire in the fender, but we're gonna see. So for at least the top bolts, I know this will work just fine. So now some of mine are broken. It's just the way the The car came to me. Whoops, that's definitely not left. So we're just going to remove these. I don't know if this guy has to come out. I don't remember. I guess we'll find out. Oh, you're probably wondering what the blanket's for. So that's going to be just for me to lay on. I may have to remove the lip on the bottom. I'm not sure if I do on this one. And just to get in the fender well and things like that, it's nice to have something soft. Don't judge me. Tiger print's in right now. Zebra print, whatever the heck that is. Ask my daughters. Okay. Now, oh, don't do that. That's what happens when you have a camera in front of your eyes. So I'm actually going to be smart and actually put these here. Okay. Carry on. Now, there's some rubber caps that need removed here. I'm going to grab my handy dandy clip tool or panel tool and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're just gonna get underneath it here like so, pry that right out. Same thing over here, and I think, oh guys, I'm not kidding, I literally have a camera in front of my eyes. I actually have to close my right eye to see this. This is probably not smart. Okay, both clips removed and one dropped. Okay, yeah, that's the valve body, the Raptor, and the lead frame. That's a whole nother video. Okay, well, so this part is now able to be popped out like so. Just kind of pull up on it. Now there are some plastic inserts here, so you got to be careful you don't lose anything. Just pop straight up. Cool. It's two pieces. There we go. So I'm just gonna set these here. Okay. All right, guys. So we're having a little GoPro battery issue, so we're back. I did just want to show you, so there are some bolts here, and these are actually Torx bolts, and all they do is just hold the fender liner in, and they're the same T15 Torx, so very easy. Then you kind of peel this back and kind of hold it out of the way, and what you'll see is, and I actually removed more than I had to, there's one bolt here on this bracket that actually bolts this part of the bumper on. So there's one long bolt here, and I think it's a 7mm. Yeah, it's a 7 mil. Looks just like this. Okay, and there's a few of these 7 mil bolts that go kind of up the edge of the bumper. So we've got one here, so you can see where this is. You've got one here. I'm actually going to pull the GoPro off here. Here you go. Kind of see right where that light is. There's bolts kind of going up, and then there's actually still one more up there, and I can't even get to it here. Once you pull this off, this fender back, you'll be able to actually see kind of up, all the way up there. And once you get all those out on both sides, then it's just a matter of the bottom bolts that hold the bumper to the bottom of the car. So we're getting there. We're almost done. I'm gonna finish this side and then I'll jump on the other side. Finally, bumper's off. And what I actually did is I actually took that lip off. I really didn't want to, but it was actually the easiest way to do it. I forgot completely about the tow hook here. If you have a tow hook, do not forget about that, because it'll be the thing that your bumper's hanging by when you're trying to pull it off. But as you can see down here, those are the bolts, or the spot rather that the bolts go into for the front lip. And here's the difference, guys. So this is the blow-off valve or bypass valve that we're working with right now, and it's not the smallest one, but it's definitely not big enough for 800 horsepower. So that's the one we're using now. That's the one we're going to. Big difference. And as you can see, it does not have nearly the size flange that would be needed for that new one. So even though the intercooler is the same, still a big upgrade with the bypass valve. There are bolts for, and I can show you now because the bumper is here off, but basically there's a bolt that goes here. Okay, sometimes you can get it from in here, but it's very difficult. You kind of just have to reach your way up and get that off, but that was really the hardest part. And now that the bumper's off, I'm gonna find a spot for it and go to work swapping out this intercooler. Okay, so it looks like they reload the horn, or at least they kind of have the horn kind of in the way here. Now I loosened, these are 10, I think they're 10 mil, yeah, 10 millimeter bolts on the rad supports, or whatever you want to call these brackets here. These bolts are pretty small, so I'm going to set these aside here. Kind of loosen this one. Don't have to take these top ones off, I don't think. I'm not coming up from the top. I'm actually going to pull this support off. Kind of just moving those out of the way. And then in here there are a few 13 millimeter bolts. And hopefully this thing just stays put. And then with any luck, this hopefully should be all I need to remove to get to this intercooler. So I'm gonna get the impact just to make life way easier today, because man, nothing's easy anymore. Whew, this garage is a absolute mess. So I think that was, what did I say, 13 mil. Yeah, good enough. Okay, 13 here, and should be, whoops, oh, that wasn't important. Oh, that was a bolt. Yeah, that was important. Shoot. Okay, well, all right, so hopefully I find that bolt. What a nightmare. I thought this was going to be easy. Okay. Nice thing about making a YouTube channel and videotape and everything, which I'm getting slightly better at, is if you mess up or you misplace something, and you kind of see where stuff was, play the tape back a little bit, kind of see where stuff goes. Okay. Okay, there she goes. So intercooler just dropped. I think it was bolted to that. Well, I think I'm going to turn the camera off and play with this a little bit because I can't see a thing. So bear with me. All right, so as you can see here, got the intercooler out. Piping was really fun. The hose is really fun to get off. This one's really tight still. I think that clamp might be just a tad undersized. Yeah, it was a little bit of a pain, but not that bad. There are some brackets here that I'm going to remove from this one and mount on that one, and that's pretty straightforward. I think they're 14 mil bolts, it looks like, and we're gonna put her back in, put everything back together. All right, so once again, I'm not doing the best job recording because I am dripping with sweat, and wearing this thing is not easy, but I did want to show what we did here. So replaced all 4 bolts on each side. We tightened the inlet and the outlet here and the intercooler's charge piping. We remounted the horns and the bracketry. Really, to take this off, I had to remove these bolts, loosen these bolts, and there was a 10 mil here and a 10 mil here on this bracket, and then I kind of just held things and kind of moved the intercooler once I loosened these bolts, of course. And awesomely enough, this vacuum line went right in, so it fit. I am ready to put the bump. Oh, I broke this too, which isn't really that important. It's the least of my worries. There's plenty of other ties holding this cable here, but yeah, I guess it's not a project if you don't break something. So ready to put her back on, mounted solid. I actually copied the bolt positions on the brackets on the intercooler, so that it should be an exact same spot that it was previously on this one. So ready to put the bumper back on, guys. One thing I forgot to mention when I took it off is the most pain in the ass harness ever. This thing just did not want to come off until I figured out what I was doing wrong. But man, these things are just hooked to everything in 5 different places. So I highly recommend doing this with a friend. I didn't think the bumper was going to fight me that much. The hard part's over, just got to bolt it back up, and I might even take it out even though it's late, just to make sure it works so I can get to work tomorrow. But I don't see why it wouldn't. Everything is good. So the only thing I foresee being an issue is putting the bolts back in on the top here. They seem to be a pain, but I am gonna throw this bumper back on assembly, just reverse, just line everything up. Obviously we're putting the bolts back in here. I'll probably do that last. Hey guys, just wanted to do a quick voiceover here just to let you know what happened. So I did not get to finish this video this night, only because the battery died in the GoPro, and that's okay, because to be quite honest, the install needed another night. I had to pull the bumper back off. Alright, so the issue we're dealing with, this is day 2. The issue we're dealing with right now is this big boy is a little too out, and it's kind of stopping the bumper from going all the way on. It's actually hitting the grill piece. I won't let the bumper go all the way on, so I can't put my lip on. I don't know where the lip went. There it is. So we're going to try to loosen some things up and wedge this baby back a little bit against the radiator and give me some more clearance here for this. Really, it's mainly this bolt and the bracket, or the vacuum inlet there that are hitting. So I'm going to try to, I think honestly, if I can get like a 1/2 inch, I think that would be enough. I don't know if anyone's ever said that before.
Not me.
Alright, let's see what happens. Alright guys, so long story short, the first time I did this, I did not give myself enough room for the bumper to clear. So when Matt and I did this the second night, we were able to find some more clearance and lift it up just enough, and it cleared the bumper just fine. Overall, I gotta say I'm pretty happy with it. and hope you guys like it. Here's some clips.